This week on the Monday Show, we talk about the Canon EOS 5D Mark III new firmware, the future of the EOS-m and its lineup, and we also talk about other Canon industry-related news.
Also, we talk about the decisive moment of photography.
All this week on the Monday Show. This is Monday Show number 11, April the 29th, 2013. Welcome back for another Monday Show. This is Monday Show number 11, April the 29th, or supposed to be the 29th, 2013. Today's actually the 30th. My name is Joe.
And I'm Mike.
And this is MetroPhotog.com's regularly scheduled Monday Show. So we invite you, thank you for coming back for another Monday Show. This week we're going to talk about some Canon and industry-related rumors. Today was the release and the launch of the official 5D Mark III firmware update, which is just great. 1.2.1, which had been seen in the wild for the last week. A lot of cameras are coming back from their respective dealers and repairs and so on and so forth from Canon official service centers. People were getting 1.2.1 on their cameras. And what's great about 1.2.1 is uncompressed HDMI out. So for the DSLR cinematographers, you're able to monitor on your HDMI line fully uncompressed 422 I think color, which is really cool on the camera. Which, I mean, the D800 had that from the launch, and Canon really should have had that from the launch, but nonetheless, Canon said they were going to deliver in April. Today's April 30th, and they delivered, so that's great. Some other stuff, enabling of the center pin AF of that 61 point AF reticular system. The center point now is going to be sensitive to f8 with your super telephotos with extenders on it, which is really nice. So those are the two big features: uncompressed HDMI out, center pin f8 with the telephotos and the bigger extenders on it. And then there's also a lot of other improvements. You also have speed improvements for AF with assist beam using the 600 or EX2 or whatever, the newer flash. So that's really nice. It's something a lot of people have been worried about, and that's great for your wedding shooters that have shoots this weekend. But I would definitely suggest put this on your camera when you're testing it. I would not use this yet.
Try it out, make sure you like it and you know the way it works before you actually go and do the job that you get paid for.
And if there is any big errors or problems, Canon will come out, pretty quickly and say, hey, don't install this yet, pros. Let's work this out. But I mean, other than that, a lot of people have been using it already. It's been in the wild for a little bit now, and so that's out. So make sure you download. If you have a 5D3, make sure you download. This is a really big software update. And along those lines, also last week, Philip Bloom had tweeted about Magic Lantern team cracking again the 5D3, which was really cool. 2K raw out of the camera.
I believe so.
Which, I mean, if that's true and we can get that to work, that'd be awesome. So Canon, listen to Magic Lantern, I think, on these things. I mean, from the 7D to that, T2i has been awesome with Magic Lantern. We don't have it installed just because I like the Canon to run native and not to have any issues or anything like that. But the Magic Lantern's been awesome. So check that out too if you want to see what's going on there. Maybe we'll put a link in the description below. Some other stuff. The future, of the EOS-m. The EOS-m has been weak in the United States. Canon knew that it was going to be weak in the United States, and I think we talked about this. I think for our Canon predictions 2013.
It's pretty big in like the Asian countries and stuff like that, where they highly depend on mirrorless cameras because it's light and it's compact system.
Big in Asia, smaller cameras. They want to shove it in their pocket and do that. And here in the United States, we like the bigger DSLRs, but that doesn't mean that a lot of us DSLR shooters wouldn't want that smaller point and shoot. I know I'd love the one for for carrying around for work or even on vacation. It'd be great to have a mirrorless camera that I could put my EF mount lenses if I wanted to, or even pancakes that they came out with. So Canon is supposed to really relaunch the system. 2 cameras, the EOS-m, the way you see it today, is their entry level, and then having a little more full-featured other system or other line that will have better AF, a lot faster AF, better burst, more speed. Have a lot of other things like an EVF or an optical viewfinder, something like that, where it's going to be a lot better, and it might even have a mirror. I mean, they're talking about that too. Maybe just going another step with the SL1 and making it a lot smaller. So we'll see what happens with that. Canon knows that they need more lenses in the system, and hopefully they do that too.
I heard that they're actually supposed to be coming out with at least 3 new lenses for that system, so that's exciting.
2 new bodies, hopefully 3 lenses. That'd be great for the EOS-m, and hopefully we see that soon. The fabled 200 to 400 f4 LIS with the 1.4x teleconverter built in. Mike and I saw this at the show Photo Plus.
Yep.
In a glass case, nobody was allowed to touch it. And it is a beautiful lens. Yeah, I think it's perfect size. And the teleconverter built in, I mean, I don't think you can get much better than that.
That is insane to think of. I mean,
And that's not the teleconverters have been built into Canon lenses before. I think the 1200 millimeter and some of the other Canon lenses, they build a teleconverter in because it's easier to get that distance with it. But this one is a switchable teleconverter. I mean, you're shooting 1 minute, you're shooting to 200 to 400. You flip to 1.4. I think it goes to 320 to 560 or something like that. And that's just great for wildlife shooters, sport shooters. I mean, these are dual purpose now lenses that get a lot more reach. I mean, you could be shooting. Just think about that. You could be shooting in a sports event. You need reach. All you have to do is flip the switch.
just like an IF or not an IF, autofocus switch, or just like a IS switch. It's that simple.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, it's going to be a little bit harder to throw because it is a piece of glass, and
Yeah.
I think they're worried about it switching in and on and off by itself. It's not going to be that easy, but physically to do it. But like you said, just flip the switch. That's it. There's no camera settings, no nothing, which is going to, I think, is just awesome. If anybody's ever used a teleconverter, it's a pain in the ass to put on and off your camera because you got to take the lens off, you got to put it on the lens, and you got to put it on the camera. I mean, it's
The whole system.
I think it's too much. So a lot of talk has been that there's a lot of manufacturing difficulties with this lens, and that's what's pushing it further and further and further into the future. And some people that have had pre-production models have said 2014 now. So hopefully Canon gets this wrapped up. They could put that out and bring out some of the other lenses that they really want to. The 800 needs replacing. I think the new 100 to 400 needs. Been talking about a 100 to 400 for a long time. That needs to come out. They have a little fire under their feet from Nikon now. Nikon released their 80 to 400, right?
Yeah.
So they need to get that out, and they need to get that going. So Canon needs to move ahead. Enough development announcements, enough rumors. They need to put some products out.
I believe so too.
What about the website?
Also on the website, recently we have posted a few new videos, including Joe's Wasabi Power video for his GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. Also, we had the Rokinon 8mm fisheye lens review. That's out there. Really great video. Check that out. And also, we had the Washington, D.C. experience video. Our first on-the-road experience. It was a great experience. You should probably check that out. We also have the new gallery that I posted a few weeks ago of Cold Streets of Manhattan 2. It's street photography in digital and in film. It was really exciting gallery for us because it's a feature that we now can have digital and film. You just click from the top, just like the regular multi-gallery that we usually have.
Yeah, like the other multi-galleries, you could switch between Mike and I. Now you could switch on Mike's album between film and digital, which is pretty cool.
Also, in the future, we're supposed to be having our Bermuda 2012 pictures that Joe still has to edit and get through all that stuff. We also have some new server videos coming. I know Joe's really excited about that. He's all into the computer stuff, as am I. Just he's very technically advanced in that field because he knows how to code and everything. Also, we have the geotagging series coming up from Joe, too.
Yeah, geotagging your videos, how that's going to help you, how you're going to get it done. I mean, there's a lot of cameras that come with the geotagging capability today, and if you have like a T2i,
You can buy accessories and stuff like that.
we'll talk about accessories, easy ways, cheap ways, expensive ways, and the ways to do it. So it's going to be hopefully a 4-part series, and then also some reviews of some products along the way. So that's coming out too, and I mean, going back to the Bermuda album, I think I rented the 5D Mark III like a month after it finally started shipping to go to Bermuda with, and it was my first experience with the 5D Mark III. And let me tell you, I think the first day I probably took like 600 pictures. So give me some time here. I got like 1,300 pictures or 1,400 pictures to go through. I mean, there's a lot of spraying and praying on that one.
Yeah, but it was just testing and development, really.
Testing the camera out, really putting through its paces. The camera was in a saltwater environment the entire week, and it was a champ. It really was. It was great. And I also did some stupid things like put 2 cards in it. The 5D Mark III allows you to put a CF card and an SD card. So there were times where I was, just messing around, playing with it, switching back and forth. I was shooting pictures on a compact flash card, then shooting it on an SD card, then shooting it on both. So my gallery and my library and in Lightroom is a mess. I'm just trying to clean it up to see what's what. So going through all that stuff, the file naming I messed up in the camera. I mean, so just going through all that stuff and getting it all organized is going to be a chore. And a lot of great pictures. 5D Mark III takes amazing pictures, and hopefully you'll be able to see that soon. So Bermuda vacation videos, maybe a separate video about shooting in Bermuda on vacation. We'll see how we feel on that. But a lot of content coming out and a lot of exciting stuff coming in the future.
The Decisive Moment, a concept created by the great Henri Cartier-Bresson, a famous and world-renowned street photographer, was a way of life to most people that shoot street photography and all different types of photography. What is the Decisive Moment to you, Joe?
Decisive moment for me, I'm going to talk about it not from the street photography perspective, because I really don't do street photography, nor do I really like it, but this concept is all throughout photography. I mean, if you're a landscape shooter, you're waiting 3 hours for the decisive moment. If you're a sports shooter, you have half a millisecond to get that decisive moment. To me, the decisive moment is the difference between a picture and a photograph. You know, people, when they look at my sports shots, I want them to say, wow, that's a great shot. You captured the action, you captured the moment. And what that difference is to me is the difference between somebody, say like the hockey that I shoot. The hockey that I shoot, there's a big difference between somebody who has their head down, or the puck is out of, you know, the frame, or you've missed a moment, everybody's looking a different way. It's that split second where everything lines up in your frame and it's the picture that you want. And you got to watch for it. I mean, to me, the decisive moment comes from really good anticipation. You know, with sports photography, I think it's a great prerequisite to not only understand the rules of the game, understand how the game is played strategically, but to also play the game so that you can understand what's coming next. For street photographers, maybe it's a little bit different. You're a people observer, you understand what people are going to do next, or you're waiting for somebody to do something for you. And it's the same thing with landscape and birds and all these things. People wait hours for an owl to turn 20 degrees and to perk its chest up. I mean, they wait hours for this, but it's that decisive moment that changes just that blah picture to a photograph that people want to buy, purchase, hang on their wall, and keep forever.
I agree with you. I mean, shooting in the street, that's mainly my type of photography. I love street photography, and I look up to Henri Cartier-Bresson as a master of photography. I mean, he was an innovator and a great role model for everybody. I mean, it doesn't matter if you shoot street, sports, agriculture, anything like that. But the decisive moment to me is that 1 millisecond that you picture in your brain, and you want to picture it forever, and you want to be able to capture that in one still image. I mean, being able to capture one raw emotion in one frame is just an amazing feat that you should be able to do. I mean, that itself is just an amazing feat in your mind.
Yeah, and that's the difference between what we talk about in gear and what we talk about in autofocus speeds and all these other ISO and equivalents and all these things, focal lengths and lenses and this, that, and the other thing. They don't matter if you can't capture the decisive moment. I mean, you could take, you know, a master photographer with, you know, just a cell phone, and they could take a 10 times better picture than somebody that has a 1DX with the brand new 24-70 version 2 on it. I mean, it's just going to be the way it is because that person can artistically make a photograph. And that's, to me, that's the decisive moment, is photographers are able to pick out the decisive moment. You know, and even on calculated shots, you know, studio shots, where you have models or objects that you're photographing, not so much objects, but even models, there's decisive moments where, you know, eyes and expressions of the face and all these things are decisive moments that you have to capture. So I think it's very important to go through your pictures and to look at them and to say, I got it here. I didn't get it here. I didn't get it here. I really did it here. Here I missed it a little bit. I need to wait a little bit longer. I mean, yeah, the continuous burst modes in cameras are great, and maybe they'll make that a little bit easier to get, but knowing when that decisive moment is a big part of photography.
I mean, advancing in photography, I want to be able to take less photos, knowing that I got the shot right the first time, instead of having to spray and pray, which most people do. But being able to take that one still image of a raw emotion and being able to use that to get to somebody's emotion and down to their heart, and to be able to get emotion out of them, which would be a great thing to do.
I mean, and even if you took 5 pictures or 5 shutter clicks of the same subject, but they were all you getting that calculated decisive moment, is a lot different than somebody spraying, at 6 frames per second, 10 frames per second, 12 frames per second if you got it 1DX and JPEG mode. Picking out of 5 frames, you're just picking exposure and making sure that your focus is tack sharp versus the person that's looking for the decisive moment. It's a lot different. And motion photography is going to be changing in the next 10 years, I think, when we see cameras like the 1DC trickle down their technology. I mean, basically the 1DC, you could scroll through a 4K footage in Premiere Pro, and there's a decisive moment, and you could click export and have a 4K resolution picture. So, yeah, it's going to change a little bit, but still, decisive moment. You don't have that sort of time when you're on the street or in sports or so on and so forth. So, honing that craft is going to be very important to photographers.
I believe so too. I mean, using that to your advantage and trying to figure out the exact moment you want and when you want it and why you want it. And you want to be able to capture that one exact frame that you want to be able to share with your friends and family and anybody that's looking at that image and be able to say, wow, that is an actual photograph. That really strikes an impact on me.
And when you do that, you have to make sure that you take it, you study it, and you understand, okay, this is when I'm going to get this shot, and commit that to memory so that you could do that again. It's repeatability that's important. I mean, anybody can go out and just by chance take a great picture. It's the repeatability, and the ones that could do it over and over and over again are the ones that are, advancing and doing a lot better. And I know even with my sport shots, coming home and looking at the pictures, every picture looks tack sharp and looks great in the back on that little 3-inch screen, but getting on a 25-inch screen with full resolution, you start to say to yourself, oh my goodness, what did I do? I missed focus, I did this, I did that, my framing is off, this, that, and the other thing, and you start to really criticize yourself, which is alright. I mean, you can't beat yourself up, but you really need to understand what's happening. And I know that I've found, okay, when I stand here, I don't get good pictures. When I stand here, I get great pictures. When I stand here, I get even better pictures. And then, if I wait for this to happen, so making sure you analyze somewhat your pictures, a lot of things will happen organically, but analyzing that stuff and making sure you put yourself in a good position to get those pictures.
Also learning from your mistakes and studying what you've done in the past to make yourself better, I would say too.
Yeah, I know when we went to Photo Plus, we saw Jared Platt, which he does he speaks for Adobe, for Lightroom, and goes around speaking for Adobe. And he's a great photographer, and check him out on his website. But Jared Platt basically talked about the reject button in Lightroom not being the reject for you and your pictures. It's more of a damn it button. It was, I missed it, but he said, make sure when you click that damn it button that you know why. The focus, why did you miss the focus? Why did you miss the exposure? How did you miss the moment? And when you could do that, when you could say all those things, chances are you probably won't do it that many more times. So analyze your pictures, continually get better. And, how do you pick out the decisive moment? Let us know in the comments, how do you make sure that you get that shot right in the right moment?
When do you use the decisive moment? Do you use it in sports? Do you use it in street photography? Any different types of photography, such as landscaping, other stuff like that? Just put a comment down below. Tell us when you do it.
Are you one of those crazy landscape photographers that sits on a cliff for 5 hours waiting for the sun to just get to the right spot? I mean, this is what people do, and that is a decisive moment. So that's decisive moment. Like Mike said, put it in the comments below. We'd like to know. So that's Monday show number 11. We talked a lot about camera and other industry-related news. We talked about new firmware for the 5D Mark III. 1.2.1 is officially out. The future of the EOS-m, what do you think about that? Write in the comments down below if you'd like to see more cameras, different types of cameras. What would you like to see in those cameras? What kind of features? New lenses. What kind of lenses would you like to see in the EOS-m system? So put your comments down below. We'll also put some links to the different news articles about that stuff. The EF 200 to 400 with the teleconverter built in. Is that something you're looking to purchase? I mean, it's going to be an expensive lens. Put that in the comments below as well. We'd like to get your thoughts on that. There's more content on our website now with the Canon video, like Mike said, Washington DC experience video, new gallery, Cold Streets of Manhattan 2. Check those stuff out on our website.
Also, we talked about the decisive moment and what it means to you guys and what it means to us and how you can use it to make your photos better. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the comment down below and hit the like button. It really helps us out, and we really like to see your opinion on stuff like that. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We always post our links to everything, even our galleries and our new videos on Facebook and Twitter. We also post to Instagram at least once a week. I know I do, at least one photo a week to keep you guys updated with our stuff.
And make sure you check out the website, MetroPhotog.com, if you'd like to send us a question that's related to this video, if you don't want to put in the comments, or anything else, if it's completely unrelated stuff that you'd like to see in a Metro Monday. Go to MetroPhotog.com/contact, fill out the form there, and just send us an email right to our inbox, and we'll get to you as quickly as possible. So this is Monday show number 11, the week of April the 29th, 2013. We thank you so much for coming back and watching. We'll see you next week.